Very special thank you and welcome to Hard Facts, the Monday edition. Today being the 29th of July 2024. It's 3:11 p.m. and as frustrated as I said I was, just as Swat was stepping out, I am excited to be here. As always, taking you through on everything we have on Hard Facts from now up until 7 p.m. when I head on out of the studio. How are you doing? It's my last couple of days with you, Abuja. How are you? I hope you were not frustrated like me, but honestly it was not funny to think that you go from one queue to another. If you're not queuing for fuel, you're queuing for some other thing. Like today the experience was just unbelievable, having to queue for I think I queued for about 2 hours. Got to the place where you write your name, and then after writing your name you now begin the other waits to get your number called or your name called for you to go into the premises. And when you get to the premises, you sit down again and you wait again until you can enter into the building itself. It was ridiculous. And to think that I spent all that time, just to try and resolve this NIN linkage matter, and I still didn't even enter into the premises. It really, really was terrible. And I understand that a lot of people got to experience that across the FCT. I saw and heard of, crowds across places like Karusite, where was that, Lugbe, and all of that. People just trying to get their NINs linked. And the funny thing about it is that for almost all of the people that I spoke to, almost all, not all of them, almost all of them had this done before. But then all of a sudden, they're saying, okay, if it is not that your NIN was unlinked, then it was a biometric issue, your face didn't show up in the capture, blah, 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 blah. And then you spend all that time on the queue and only to hear that the system is down. My God. It degenerated at some point. And, some people were trying to bring down the gates, literally, of the telecom operator. And they got through the first gate, scarily enough. They got through the first gate, we were able to open it. And then by the time they were trying to get across the second gate, we had the security forces show up. And when I say they showed up, I mean they showed up big time. It was like the protest was trying to start from there. Oh, no, it was a sight to behold. There was tear gas deployed at some point while I was there. It wasn't funny. But, the security forces showed up in their numbers, dare I say. And I mentioned all of them, FRSC, NSCDC, military, police, all of them showed up there. They were able to disperse the violent people in the crowd. But time did not allow me to continue my wait. And so having written my name at 441, while waiting for 270 something to enter, and 600 and something had come to join me, I had to leave very painfully just so that I can get to work. Senator is here laughing. Hello, Senator. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Somi. Nice seeing you again.
Yeah. So good to see you, sir. It's been a while.
Just cheer up. You go better, as we used to say in Nigeria.
So it wasn't funny.
I didn't think that we all suffered to go and get this NIN registration thing.
Yes.
I remember the time they were all pressuring us.
Mm-hmm.
Go and get it. You go and line up and queue, even at the risk of getting the COVID-19 then. And after this, they will still send you a message.
Yes.
You've not done your a link. Go and link up and you do it again.
You
follow the process. They will still, sometimes I don't get it,
It's not fair.
In fact, the way there are things ought to be seamless in even voting. If you go to where serious crime, people do vote during the war. You won't even know that voting is going on.
Yeah.
Because they create a system that make it seamless, that you can be in your own comfort zone and do all these things. And sudden bearing of numbers and even including those who, I'm sure you did this link.
Yes, I did.
That's what, because most people who were affected, almost all,
had done it before.
So,
yes.
And this is another frustrating adding to the anger
Senator,
of Nigeria.
You should have seen some business owners who came there practically crying when they saw the queue.
I can't imagine having my phone because you know the way the world is linked, and this is like your life, your business, your contact, everything. Imagine you want to make transaction, or people are trying to reach you, and they can't get through to you, and most of other things are linked to this. Yeah, data, most everything. So
oh no, I had people there who were almost in tears. The monies they had lost, the monies that they had tried to make that clients couldn't reach them. I can't imagine what had happened in terms of economic value between Friday and now, because I know this started on Friday. Mine was blocked Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some people were in the bid to just catch fun. Were telling their stories of how they were in the church, and right they were in church, the thing just went off. Someone was making a call, and right in the middle of the call, it went off. It was insane. Typically, when they do block your lines like this, let's just even assume that it was because a lot of these lines were unlinked, which most of them were. Typically, when they block your lines like, at least you can receive calls, right? It limits you, but it doesn't limit people from getting across to you. It was painful to see people.
And the funny thing is that they gave reason for all this stress they put Nigerian through, length, and crime continue, and they've not really shown us the value, like the people, all these criminals still use phones, kidnap people, still use phone, make calls to their victims, extract money, and do all manner of things. And there's no something on ground to show that, okay, this effort for forcing people to do link
has merit.
Has merit.
Yes.
Instead, what we have is suffering people, just the way they force people to go. The same way when that initial phase that everybody must go and link, it was crazy. People suffered, to get to the process to get their phone linked, only to suffer this consequence again of forcing people to go and go and follow this process,
right?
And plus all the economic losses in between.
Well,
and again, now the bottom line is that there's no sanction. There's not always penalty to pay
when this is done.
The masses still bear the consequences of this. No sanction. You do know amount of billions if it's in serious crime.
Honestly,
MTN or whatever, I don't want to mention, whatever telecommunication or whatever authority that is responsible will be paying compensation. They'll be paying severe compensation. I'm telling you, this is not joking. The consumer protection rights in Nigeria are not taken serious. You can't just, out of the blue, just
cut people off completely. Yes.
They're talking about their livelihood, their means of survival, the way the economy is. For if it's 20 years back or when nothing like this, yes, people already, the system already structured in a way to take care of the economy activities then. But we are talking of the current reality whereby everything is linked to your phone.
The average entrepreneur these days is doing a lot of their selling via the phone because maybe the cost of renting a shop and all of that is high for them. So
overnight.
No, it was
just
terrible.
Overnight,
it was terrible. Some people came there and they were like, I can't wait. I'm going to switch to another line. And they say even that one, they're going to buy it. I heard it wasn't just across one network. Some other lines I heard too were buying their own. And someone was like, let me just buy a new SIM. I know a lot of people who came and couldn't wait. They had to buy new SIMs.
Frustrated already.
It was
scarcity we are talking about. There are so many things.
Sir, I was there and I was trying to maintain this, this neutral, this thing that, oh no, it's not tied to anything. No, it's just that they had to do it. But seeing the share numbers, I'm not joking. We were not less than 1,000 people there.
I have friends who already come.
And this was just in their Maitama office. You should have seen the numbers at Lugbe. I've seen numbers from across the country. The Association of Licensed Telecoms Operators of Nigeria had to come out to say that their members are not involved in trying to frustrate the proposed nationwide protest by buying subscriber lines or restricting internet access, because people started to think along those lines.
You see, sometimes I don't understand how government react to authority, react to issues. In fact, instead of dousing, they are pouring more fuel to the whole burning fire. Because now you say you are taking this, allegedly, this action to prevent. Okay, how do you know that those you buy their lines or their numbers are those participating in the protest. I don't get it. And you're adding to the frustration of people, giving people reason to go and to get more angry, to get the reason to voice out their frustration. So I don't think this is the way to go. Well, it's just like the time they tried to ban Twitter, and it didn't still stop people who want to tweet from tweeting. You only added to the anger and disappointment and frustration of the people.
I remember engaging in conversations with some of the people there who were saying, "Oh, this is geared toward the process," and I was like, "No, the telecoms companies would not knowingly suffer their clients like this, because they are the one they would also lose in terms of patient and owner." Because I know the outrage, as some people came and said, never again, I'm not using this service anymore, I'm going to use another one. It was terrible. Anyway, like I said, Alton chairman Mr. Gbenga Adebayo came out and told News Agency of Nigeria that it was just coincidental that the barring of lines by telecom companies was coming at a time when some persons were preparing to protest. But even better news, having expressed my frustration and sat down here and said, okay, let's see how I'm going to get into this conversation today. News has come out that the NCC has ordered immediate reactivation of all blocked lines. Now, here's what is funny. While people were trying to show themselves at the office earlier on this morning, people were coming out and venting their anger and all of that. They would do something really silly, and it was problematic. And I just thought, watching that, I thought, this is how protests start out peacefully and degenerate. Some disgruntled elements will just come and take over what was a once peaceful, what they call it now, process, right? You see the process, everybody is queuing. Yes, people are upset and all, but I'm telling you, all it took was two guys to go and start shaking the gates. And the next thing, another person joined, and that one started flinging things out. They almost beat the person that was writing in, the security guard. It was horrible. And I said to her, perhaps to some extent, this is one of the things that makes people worried about protests, right? But at the same time, you want to ensure that when you have a system in place or a process in place, this is going out to the telecom companies now, pending when they enforce this directive that NCC has given, please make your process seamless. There were so many people shunting, and that shunting made it difficult for the number calling to flow.
That's a point
it was horrible.
There's how you can make the people don't even need to go to the.
So we've talked about it, but let's leave this matter, because I said I kept trying during the weekend before today. Kept trying and trying online, use USSD, nothing happened.
That's what I'm saying. You to not allow something to degenerate into the situation. Because, look, whether you like it or not, if they said those who make peaceful impossible, like I'm saying, what created such a venue is because the feedback mechanism is not seamless, or the process through which people can rectify
it's not seamless.
So how many years now telecommunication have come to Nigeria
that you're still having people coming to queue?
It's not. It doesn't show growth. You're only collecting money. You're only growing in collecting revenue,
and that's all.
That's all. Yeah. You are not improving your services. You are not improving your infrastructure, and that's what people talk about. Like, okay, you generate revenue. Okay, how do you improve in your services?
All right, then. Let's take this quick break. When we come back, the conversation will continue on the Roundtable.
Connection established.
is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
None other than the revered himself, Senator Iroegbu, Editor-in-Chief, Global Sentinel, as well as convener, Geopolitics Series. He's also a security/public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for joining me, Senator.
Thank you, Somi.
Q of this morning did not allow me to introduce you properly. Forgive me. I have done that
worry.
now.
It's one of those days, but cheer up. You go better.
Yes, I mean, honestly, the news from NCC has calmed me down completely. Let me quickly read out what the NCC said, and then I'll take your thoughts and contributions as we move on. NCC has ordered telecoms operators to immediately reconnect all phone lines that were blocked as part of a NIN SIM verification exercise. The NCC gave this directive in a statement on Monday over the weekend. On Monday, rather. Over the weekend, of course, many of us were unable to access phones and do businesses and all things that are tied basically to these SIM cards due to this barring that they did. And typically, like I said, where you typically have, even though the numbers are barred, you can receive at least, or you can send SMSs or one or two things. This time around, there was absolutely nothing at all. Nothing at all. So I had some varying reports after a couple of hours, and people would be like, oh, I just received an SMS. This is having not received an SMS throughout the weekend. I did also have some people in the course of the wait at the office, the telecom office this morning. Some people would say, oh, all of a sudden, oh, my line is working again. So it was a bit all over the place, you know. You get bad for the weekend and then you come back and then it's on, and then after a while it goes off again. So it was really messy. But basically, this is what the NCC has said. Though they are saying that, this advocacy had been on to link your SIMs and all of that, extensions had been given and all of that. But they've seen how terrible things have been. From morning up until now, they have come out to say the consumer is their priority. Therefore, considering the challenges the blockages have caused, the Commissioner has directed all operators to reactivate all lines that were disconnected over the weekend in view of the short time available for consumers to undertake the verification of their NINs with their SIMs. And I tell you, this thing touched everybody. Sir, uniform personnel. All of us were trying to get in today. All of us. Soldiers, police, and all of that.
As I was passing this NLPC, I see all the military, everywhere just
trying to get
looking frustrated and dejected.
So we're dealing with multiple queues as it stands.
Multiple queues,
multiple
issues, you know. So I think government, and I keep on coming to this for a thing. I've noticed a pattern, before. This first casting comes once after a long while, it comes, and there's always a reason. Members of the public who see reason, either there is flooding or there is fuel marketers, or say something that's Ukraine, all those kind. But now, first casting in Abuja is always like every other 2 weeks. You just all of a sudden see that there's fuel queue. No reason explained. All of a sudden, you see, okay, the fuel queue have disappeared. In the next 3 days or 1 week, there's fuel queue. So there's this inconsistency now. No explanation, no pattern. Nothing is even. People cannot even. Okay, before there be a first cast, the people can even sense it. Maybe there's a negotiation, there's a problem between the union, maybe oil marketers and the government. Then members of the public can start planning, and even government can tell, okay, in so we'll resolve this. But nothing like that these days. You just see there'll be sudden fuel queue. Maybe 1 or 2 days, it will disappear. Some will now come. In the next 3 days, you see another queue. After 1 day or 2 days, it will disappear. So this one, I'm assuming maybe is because of the whole, whether there'll be protest or no protest, maybe people are taking precaution. I just don't know. I don't know if you know any reason why there's this current scarcity.
Senator, at this point, I am beyond explanations. I don't even want to hear it. I said it this time around. I said it in the one before this one. I say at this point, Nigerians are at the point where they don't even need to hear why. This is in view of the removal of fuel subsidy. This thing should be seamless.
Exactly.
This thing should be. We should not be having this conversation
because this is
again.
one of the reasons we are told when there's first subsidy removal, even though there will be increase in private, you be sure you'll be getting the fuel and all this and that. And we are yet to see that. So in a sense, these are, why am I bringing all these? Because I know what we are talking going back to the frustration in all this SIM card, barring lines and all those things, is adding to the overall frustration that the citizens are facing. And that's what government, more than just issuing press statement, warning people and all this and that, is being proactive to see that all these things doesn't feed into those narrative. And again, responding to the, yes, there must have been, but people build conspiracy. Is all these things that feed into conspiracy theories? Because, okay, there is the issue of planned protest in the next 2 days or so, and suddenly people's lives are bad. It gives those who want to build conspiracy theories around this issue ammunition to actually build into it, and that, okay, this may be reason why. It may not be, but these are kind of, you don't give people reason to build all these kind of conspiracy theories.
But that's
so
why
good enough that
NCC
the
has come out.
NCCS
Yes.
have come out. So it's good they are being proactive. And I don't know if your line has been unblocked.
I'm going to check it. Apparently, it's one of my. You know the kind of thing where
you go better.
Senator, let me take some messages and possibly some phone calls, and then we'll move on to our next conversation. Excuse me. Tokwe here saying, Chai Somi Pele, thank you so much, Tokwe. J Rock from Jeremy, good afternoon, Somi. Please, what do you mean it's your last couple of days with us? I mean on hard facts, bros. I'm still with Nigeria Info. I'm just going back to my shift because Kim is due back, give or take Wednesday or Thursday. That's what I meant by that. Hello, Hafsat, good afternoon. I see you. There have been protests in other countries of the world and even in Nigeria in the past without a backlash or counter protests until APC came to power. Okay, Jay, with that one. Let's see. Good day, Somi and our guest. My wife went to restore her blocked MTN line this morning but couldn't explain the number of people waiting on queue. She came back home disappointed. The NCC must do something to ease the situation because many citizens have been disconnected entirely. Good news, Deacon Emmanuel Okudiliede from Madala, NCC has issued that directive. I'm hoping that the telecoms operators follow through immediately. Good afternoon, Somi and the guest. On this SIM card linkage, MTN has failed. You hardly see Glow subscribers have similar problem because the first time I followed the code, my green SIM card was automatically linked, and when I called to their center, it was confirmed. But with MTN, it's different. I tried so many times with the code sent, and each time I did, they kept telling me my NIN was invalid, even after the last trial. And I was told it has been successful. MTN keeps asking me to link it every of my first dial of the day, meaning that the company is not well organized. Israel, with that one. Jay, what is this? Jay says, Somi, why did they block your line? I didn't know you look like a protester. Really, sorry. That's the lot of the common man in this place. That's where Nigeria's security shows force. Only a lazy man beats up his own kinsman and spouse and can't contain external aggressors. Not quite sure what. Okay. Let's leave it at that. Let me take some phone calls. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Senator, good afternoon.
Senator, greetings to you.
My name is Abubakar. You're right, I'm calling for Suleja. Honestly speaking,
Afternoon.
they should explain to the Nigeria what happened that they are blocking people's lives. They have an explanation to it. They have something to explain. This morning, the first thing my wife told me that they block her line. And she went to the MCA in Suleja. The crowd is the line. You see, she told me when I called him, when I was in Abuja, I call her. She said she cannot be able to meet up because of crowd, because of people on the queue. Why? Hello?
I'm with you, sir. Go ahead.
I'm not the part of protest, but they should do the right thing. Government should do the right thing. If this man makes pronouncement, first already is God. He's causing a lot of challenges to Nigeria. As a father of the nation, a father of the home, you make a decision to your family. You see that the decision you make to your family is too harsh for them. They cannot find it easy. You see the duty revise it so that the family will not look you on that eye. When you make a very harsh policy on your family, when you see that it's very difficult for them, you revise it.
Okay.
When somebody told you to revise it, the man is very, I don't know what to say.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think on this one about the barred lines, we can say that it has been speedily reversed, expecting for the telecoms operators to follow through. Let's just keep watch between now and the end of the show, just in case you still have that issue where your line is barred. Let's talk about that, right? But I believe we can move on from this right now. 2 more calls and we'll go to the next headline. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Ola.
Welcome, Dr. Ola. Go ahead.
Yeah, you see, our government are progressing, they are not progressing. And the only thing that happened, from what happened today, I just came back from one of the MTN stores, so-called MTN stores. And they will tell you when your line is bad, like my own, they say visit the nearest MTN stores. And I don't know which one that is nearest in Abuja yet, because all of them are far away. And then if you visit Metama, their headquarters, or wherever you are, except you are living directly opposite or in the same exit. So if you look at it, and you look at these few things, it's not just about today's matter. Even in banks, if you go to the banking hall, you see queue. You want to do election with queue. Is it that they cost us a queue? Is it that we can't do anything different from queuing? Can we do things like 21st century nation? So these are the problems we have. And we need to change it by changing the leaders of things to the 21st century leaders, so that they will not be all these old schools that are doing things in the old way, making things really old, changing new national anthem to old national anthem, everything good.
Okay.
When are you going to get out of this?
Okay.
It's uncalled for.
All right, then. Thank you so much. My last call before we move on to the next conversation. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Somi.
Welcome.
Good afternoon to our guest. My name is Salasi.
Go ahead, you can hear you.
This is the same experience I have yesterday with my MTN line. As I'm telling you, because of that I have to come to the town. Look at the amount that I spent for transport. Getting to their office for Zone 5 here at the back of Formal Corporate Affairs Commission. In fact, the crowd that I saw there, I couldn't withstand. I say, and they have through this USSD code, through online, I have tried all these means. They will reply me that they are going to verify and they will get back to me. Still up to now, since morning. In fact, my brothers, see, I can't even, my elder brother, the same thing. The people from my community are still complaining that they have blocked their line. One will just wake up one morning. Imagine what people are losing. I think if they, to get people that will take these people to court and pay some damages, you can imagine what people are losing now since on Saturday that they started all this thing. You can imagine what people are losing. Just one will just wake up one morning and started, bringing some bad policies. I have done my own up to 3 times before. I go to their office, they say I should do this, I should do biometric, I do the biometric, they do everything, they recapture me. Why are they still banning my line? In fact, if I have alternative, I will throw away that line.
Okay. All right then. Thank you so much, Salasi. I said that was the last call I was going to take on that subject before we move on. We still have a few things to touch on the roundtable, and then perhaps we just take all your contributions all at once at the same time. All right. A lot has been said to stave off the planned protest, which is supposed to kick off 1st of August. we've heard from different people, religious leaders, monarchs, ministers, governors, security operatives, the likes, or everybody has come out to say why this should not happen. And one of the most common things that we've heard is that the president has only been in office for 1 year. Now, there's a statement that is credited to the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who was speaking on this with media people over the weekend. And one thing he said, which I'd like, Senator, let's break it down into, because when the president came out to say, look, don't protest, this is the president speaking now, not any other person, right? He came out and said, give me more time. And there has always been a conversation about how much time is enough time, and why do you need more time even after having done a year plus in office, right? Let's look at what the Minister of Interior says. He says the president cannot fix Nigeria's economic problems in 1 year. Right? He said the challenges that we're facing date back as far as 100 years. He also noted that the president never campaigned as a magician, but as a person ready to renew the dimmed hope of a country's economy. He said the country was moving in the right direction and it would take some time for the challenges to be resolved. I went ahead to say the government is doing well in terms of certain indices, but when you judge the government based on its ability to solve a 100-year-old problem in 1 year, then you might be having such an accession. And he says, look, you have to give him time. 1 year is just not enough. And I remember just seeing, was it yesterday or day before yesterday, a news headline about the president of Argentina, Milei, who has taken the country out of recession in just 7 months of being in office. And, some people will say it's a bit of a stretch to compare a foreign country like a foreign country to Nigeria, but I don't know that we can put Nigeria side by side with any country at all, even an African country, and have representatives of government come out and say that their case is different. You would always have them say, look, Nigeria is different, Nigeria is not different. I want us to really break this down, one way or another, because the one thing that we have seen is that government and representatives of government are mobilizing in such a way that the protests will not hold. So I talked about how security forces were deployed to the office where I was at this morning when I went to do the SIM linkage. I saw videos earlier on from Eagle Square this morning. The speed at which those forces mobilize. And when you say police, or let's not even say military, the military did come there at some point, but the police deployed there so quickly. And they were not just, they were tactical gear looking, the vehicles were tactical, the type that that ready to go to war. And first thing that crossed my mind was, these are some of the security forces that have been deployed ahead of the protest, right? So you're seeing in every body language and even verbal expression from the government that they are not willing for people to come out and do this protest. So let's for the sake of argument say, let's look at what the president is saying and consider giving him more time. I'm never okay with the open-ended statement of more time, but let's look at it critically. Is 1 year really too small?
Even 1 month, people are allowed to protest in a democracy.
No. I'm saying...
No, to assess a government?
Yes, to assess a government.
That's why we have 100 days in
office.
Yes, in a democracy, especially with the presidential system of government we practice. There's this adage, they say that you use I don't know how people will feel about it, but it's just talking about you can know the taste of a food by just the scent, the flavor. So even for democracy, you only have 1 year and the second year, the first year and the second year, because the third year, you're already in the campaign mode. You're already getting distracted. People have already started jostling who will represent, this thing, then the final year is the election year. So saying that 1 year is too soon to judge, I don't know how many years they're expecting to. I don't believe in that. And I don't like a situation where government representatives keep giving people excuses that time is not enough, how the problem have been existing in donkey years.
100 years, according to
That's
the
why I
Minister
just
of
used
Interior.
donkey
He
years to
didn't
mention that,
specify
yes,
which
yes.
exact problem, because I was
So
keen about
the
learning
point
which
I'm
one.
making, because this was the excuses we had when Buhari was in government. They keep on talking about 16 years of it, until we all got tired of it. At a point, they don't even know what to say again. So now, the funny thing is that this is the same party. It's just like, for example, if assuming Kamala Harris wins now, is trying to tell us, okay, the problem inherited is from Biden administration, or assuming Biden won, took over, Clinton won when Obama, and you are telling us, okay, this didn't happen to me. This is the same government of Democrats, or the same government of APC, and that's one. Then secondly, when you are taking over, when you come out and say, okay, I want to lead a country, you already seen the prevailing challenges. You already seen that this is a problem I'm coming to solve. You already telling in your campaign, you told us, we know that so there's economic challenge, there's security. In fact, the problem of Nigeria is there for everybody to see. It's not too hard to see. So now, you come, you already know that this problem is existing. So from your first year, what you should be telling us is what you've done to address these challenges and the effect, the impact you already made in addressing these challenges.
When they said they've made some gains in some
people
indices.
People should be able to feel those gains. People should be able to feel it. Okay, how are people feeling it? You are feeling it by fuel queues here and there. You are feeling it by the price of fuel increasing almost incrementally, almost every 2 months. You are feeling it by the increase in food inflation. So, and those who have seen some road repairs and infrastructure in FCT are already giving them credit in that. So it's not a rocket science. When Nigerians are one of the easiest people to please. When there's good, they will praise you. But if people are not feeling the other way, they will also say it. So the point I'm making now is that this, they say, is too far to make it. It doesn't take too long to make it if you want to make impact. The same way, whether good or bad. The same way the bad impact can be felt, the same way the good can be felt. Look at what the Minister of FCT has done within less than a year compared to what his predecessor took 8 years, and he could not even fix. Okay, I live around, I don't want to mention, somewhere, and there was this bridge they were trying to construct for 8 years, and the current minister, even though I'm not a fan of the way he plays his politics, but give credit where it is due. And other part of FCT like Karodi Satellite need to also feel the impact of the development. But let's take what he has done within the Federal Capital City, that's the city center.
FCC, yes.
Within the speed of, he has achieved what this other was not able to achieve in 8 years. That to tell you, leadership matters a lot. The other day I was to go to Asokoro. So before I will have to take the other detour, and because the last time I do, they blocked the road.
Yeah.
So I decided, okay, let me check it. It's a new feeling entirely. The bridge was done under 6 months or less.
So basically, you take a weekend, you take a minister of the FCT, and you say, okay, in terms of the way he plays his politics, he's some people have questions about that, but
that's what I'm saying.
But you see one or two things. There are some areas that people will still quarrel with you and say, oh, he's not great at this area when it comes to the welfare of people and all of that. But what you're saying now is you take a wiki, for example, and you put him, side by side with the president and say, at least let's be able to see one thing that you're doing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, at least, yes. Give us Wike, we are taking it as a microcosm.
Of course.
President comes at a whole. We are looking at the whole nation as a whole to judge the president. Do you understand? We are taking the nation as a whole, because you are superintending the whole country. Now you look at the pros and cons. You now give your own mark. So when we are talking about Wike now, is we are looking at FCT. I'm just using it as an example to tell you that if a leader comes and want to work, you can see the impact. The same way, assuming the way he implemented, because when he came, in his first, before he even finished his first speech, he said fuel subsidy gone. Are you telling me that if that fuel subsidy, the way he works in his favor, he will start telling us there is too much time to enjoy, that we should give him time for us to enjoy, to know whether he's performing well or not? If it has worked well under this 1 year, will he tell us not to judge him on that good indices, to wait for him for 4 years to wait whether this good thing he did, whether it's sustainable or not? Will he not count it as his own performance index or a plus to him? So the same thing, he took a decision that somehow it backfired in a way. It led to increase in so many things, inflation, and then there was this forex policy, that we are also, everything feeds into what we are. So I don't know what the time is trying to tell us to wait and not to judge. We have less than 2 years for him to, because the last year is basically election year. In fact, we are in the second year, which is supposed
2 months into the second year.
And if you check those who are making part, just check even though I don't believe in military government, but if you check what Murtala Muhammad Obasanjo were able to do within less than a year, the impact they made, the infrastructure they built. The same way you can see that a government who want to make impact, and the same way some of the policies they have taken, if it has worked well, if Nigerians are seeing, they say, okay, over time, when there is a remove fuel subsidy, they will plot the money, that money that's supposed to go into, they will use it, improve education, improve this, improve that, improve that. If Nigerians are seeing it, maybe people won't be complaining. If they are managing in such a way that it did not lead to food inflation, or that there is security and farmers have access to their farmland and that they are farming, and people have access, then maybe the complaint won't be too much. It will be more praise than complaint. But giving these excuses of no time, this time, before you know it is gone.
It's the word magician for me. So they make it seem. They make it seem like
they have. I don't have it. That's what before they know it. 2 years is gone.
Okay.
We are already going to the second year of the administration. So whatever you want to do, you have to do it now.
Should have started happening already.
Yes, and he started it that way, just that he didn't put contingency plan. He didn't really plan. He came and announced fuel subsidy by fiat without putting some contingencies. He didn't really plan ahead of it. I was thinking, okay, because Nigerian electoral process plan in such a way that before end of February, those who won election, apart from challenging it, already know that, okay, I'm going to be president, except pending what court cases. By then, you already start building your team.
Right.
Before May. That means you have February, let's say 1 week, February, March, April, like almost 2 and something months to already planned.
Okay.
So I was thinking before I announced that there was already a security team, administrative team, or economic team, but that wasn't.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we open up the phone lines. We have touched on 2 matters right now. One of them pretty much resolved. Let's see what the others have to offer after this.
Audio Jungle.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.